All right, so today we're going to continue on with rock formations and earth forces. Remember, anything that you see me typing in this Google Doc, I want you to be writing down in your science notebook. So the title of today's notes, Rock Formations and Earth Forces. Remember, at any time you need to pause the video or rewind the video, do that so you can make sure you are getting those good notes. So this picture, these three images, kind of show us what rock layers look like anytime one of Earth's forces disturbs what's going on with our layers. So we know that because of the law of superposition, that our older rock layers are found on the bottom and our younger rock layers are found on the top. So sometimes rock layers are disturbed. That means they're kind of messed up by different earth forces. And this means that the pattern we typically see in rocks, the one of older layers on the bottom, younger layers closer to the surface, can sometimes be mixed up with rock layers existing in different formations. So I want you to think a minute about what you think might cause this. And in your notebook, don't cheat and go on to see the answer. In your notebook, I want you to type out this question. What might cause what we typically see in Earth's layers to be disturbed? And I want you to write your answer below that question. Now, this tells us that some earth forces include earthquakes, rivers, and erosion. And these earth forces can disturb our law of superposition, jumbling up the youngest and oldest layers, putting them kind of out of order, what we're used to. So the first is earthquakes, and we're going to define earthquakes. Oh, before we do that though, we want to put the three types of earth forces we might see. And then I want you to also define earthquake. So this tells us that earthquakes are shaking caused by the movement of rock under Earth's surface. This occurs and layers are no longer aligned. So this is what an example of a fault line. These rock layers impacted by an earthquake will often show distinct change at the fault line where the earthquake occurred. So this would be where that earthquake occurred, and the shaking underground happened, meaning that the layers of the rock got shifted. And you can see easily here that the colors are no longer matched up because of the earthquake's motion. Moving on to rivers. We're going to define rivers in our notebook. I want you to add a fault line in there as well to go with what we just talked about with earthquakes. So rivers are, we know what rivers are. We see them. Some of you have maybe even lived next to a river, but they are strong forces that can impact rocks. Oftentimes, they will cut through rocks, leaving rock layers exposed. So that water can be a very powerful force, and it can cut through the layers of rock, as you can see here, leaving areas exposed. So you would be able to see through here the different layers of rock. Rivers may also deposit new sediment in the middle of old rock layers. We know that definition of depositing sediment is that first step in the rock formation process. So then we're going to go on and talk about erosion. Erosion is defined as wearing down of rocks by wind, rain, flowing water, and even animals. Wind, rain, and even animals that wear down the rock. That's pretty much what erosion means. It's just wearing down the rock. And we're going to define both erosion and what it means to erode. Okay. So you can see here as the rock layers have eroded, they may have formed to look like this or look like this, new patterns in the rock layers. So often the cause of Earth's forces that disrupt rock patterns is plate tectonics. And plate tectonics is the movement of plates that make up Earth's crust. All right, so we're going to type that. Plate tectonics is the movement of plates that make up Earth's crust. Now, when it says plates, it's not talking about like a plate that you would eat on. These are plates in the earth. And we said the crust is not a solid layer on the outside of Earth. Okay, so that's important when we're talking about plate tectonics. So rock formations broken into sections are called plates. And you can see the plates here with a map of the continents underneath. These plates move slowly and interact at their boundaries. So it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see North America here, that's where we live. You can see South America, Africa, all the continents we've been learning, and you can see these lines in these sections where it talks about different plates. So they move slowly and interact at their boundaries. And I want you to write that down as well. Okay. Tectonic plates fit closely together along their boundaries. You can kind of think of it like a puzzle piece. The plates are many miles thick. They bump and rub against each other while pulling apart and pushing together. There we go. In a cross section under Earth's surface, the layers of rock that make up the crust are floating on top of the thick mantle of liquid rock. So if this is our crust, remember the mantle is that next layer of Earth underneath Earth's surface, Earth's crust, I'm sorry. And earthquakes are one example of Earth's forces caused by tectonic plate movement. And I'm running out of time, so we're going to stop there for now. So this will be the next slide that we work on starting tomorrow.